Fear of little people. How do you say that? Achondrophobia?
Yeah, achondrophobia. That is a fear of little people, and that is real, man.
Yeah.
It's always wild when I meet people that have this fear. Because it's like, I'm a human being.
Right. I ain't a snake. I'm not an insect.
Yeah, I'm not poisonous. But props to the people. I've had this happen a lot. Where people come to my show and they have the fear, but they're trying to conquer it. So they're like, I'm going to go watch a Brad Williams show. And they meet me in the meet and greet. But the funniest one, this is an all-timer. You know where I'm going with this. I was doing a show, and on the show was me and a bunch of comics. This was the same show that Bill Burr came up to me and said, you should have headlined it.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing a show with Bob Saget was also on that lineup.
Oh, yeah.
R.I.P. Bob Saget. And I had never met Bob before.
Mm-hmm.
Bob comes into my dressing room before this show and goes, hey, Brad, you have to meet John Stamos. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would love to meet him. Let's go. And like I said, never met Bob before until that day. And we go into, and now I go, why do I have to meet John Stamos? And Bob looks at me and goes, because John is deathly afraid of little people. And I'm like, okay. So we go to the dressing room. We go to Bob's dressing room. He opens the door. I see John Stamos. I run right up to John. I don't wait. I just run up to him. I grab his leg and I start humping his leg. I am getting his knee pregnant, Shannon. And I'm just going at his leg. And John, I'm sorry. I mean, I've said it before. I'll put it out there. John, you scream like a okay, like he squealed.
He was screaming,
squealing, and then he's like kicking his leg, trying to get me off. And Saget is just laughing his ass off, and John is deathly afraid of little people. Now, to his credit,
right?
Fast forward a couple years after that. This is a story that people don't know. Fast forward a couple years after that, I'm at Bob Saget. He did, and his family still does, a big charity. It's for Scleroderma Foundation. They do a big charity comedy show, and a lot of big names come out for this. And I'm at a table, and John sees me at the table, runs up to me, grabs my hand, and goes, "Come with me." And I'm like, "All right." And he walks me up to Jimmy Kimmel's table.
Right.
Jimmy Kimmel is talking with Don Rickles, and he looks at Jimmy and goes, "Jimmy, look, see, I'm fine now. I'm good."
You're cured.
Yes. So John is doing very well now. I don't know if it's just me or if it's all little people that he's good with, but props to him. But yeah, for a while he was deathly afraid of little people.
You do some acting. Is there a role? Is there a role that you wouldn't do, Brad?
Oh, is there a role I wouldn't do? Wow.
You probably don't want to dress up in no costume. You want to show your skills.
I do. I have dressed up in a costume. It's funny because like I've done stuff that's like, but like I always did stuff that where the intent was always humor. But like as a dwarf actor,
kind of limited, huh?
You gotta do the shit where you're like, all right, I'm in a movie called Hercules Saves Christmas, and Hercules is not the hero; it's a pit bull. Like I'm in a movie called that, so it's like you get work where you can get it.
Right.
But now, thankfully, because stand-up is going well and stand-up is really successful, I can be a little more selective. So recently I was in the film Spinal Tap 2. That was awesome. I got to do that with Wee Man, and that was great. And I got to do a scene with Elton John. Sir Elton John. And we're doing a live performance scene. So there's an audience. And the audience sees Elton John. They're all going crazy. They're all extras, but they're all being very nice to him. And Sir Elton waves at him. And then Wee Man is actually in the scene with me. And someone yells out Wee Man, and he waves, and they're all going up. And then one guy yells out, "Brad Williams, we love you." And then they all start like they all start clapping. And Elton John, I have not talked to him. He looks at me and goes, "Who the f*** are you?" It's like, okay. I'm an actor. Hi, Elton. I'm Brad. Nice to meet you. But yeah, so I don't know if there's roles I wouldn't play. Like, you know what? There's a lot of roles I wouldn't play. I just have to look at the script, see it. I tell you what I would have played.
What?
I would have played a dwarf in the live-action Snow White movie. but then they took out the dwarves. Thanks, Dinklage.
Yeah, because
Are you watching? Are you watching, Dinklage? Do you know that you took work away from me and my 6-year-old dwarf daughter? You took money and food out of my 6-year-old daughter's mouth. Thanks, Dink. All right, sorry. That's the yak talking.
Did you really get upset?
Yeah, legit upset because now I don't know if he did it on purpose, but Dinklage was on a podcast. He was on WTF with Mark Maron, and he had mentioned that he's like, "Oh, are we doing the Snow White thing? Are we still doing the Snow White thing with the dwarves?" And then Disney, like, they were gonna hire a bunch of
and you like,
actors. I'm down, I'm game. Let's go. It's Snow White and the 7 dwarves. It's literally the part I was made to play, and they canceled that, and then they announced they were going to do Snow White and the 7 magical beings, and then they released a photo of the 7 magical beings, and it was like, you can pull up the photo somewhere and put it on the podcast, but like, if you look up Snow White and the 7 magical beings, it looks like a hacky sack circle at Berkeley. Like, it's just a bunch of everything,
right,
including one little person. And then there was outrage about that. So now they landed on, we're gonna do Snow White and the 7 dwarves. They're gonna be dwarves, but they're gonna be CGI. And they CGI'd the dwarves. Could you imagine, Shannon, if they're doing 12 Years a Slave, and all the slaves are CGI black people? How mad you would be.
Yes.
Yeah. I was mad. I'm still mad. So
probably if you'd had to roll on Game of Thrones for like all the things, you probably wouldn't have wanted to do that.
Yeah, if I had some Game of Thrones, if I had Game of Thrones money, Dink, then maybe I would be, talking out about these roles too. But I don't. So when that happened, I was mad. And if I ever meet Peter Dinklage, despite what I've just done, I have a lot of respect for the man.
Right.
But I would love to have that conversation with him and see what he truly thinks about that, and if it got blown out of proportion, and if he truly doesn't want dwarves to play those roles. Because I know for a fact, and this is something like Dinklage, he made this decision, and I respect him for it. He didn't want to take roles that were making fun.
Mm-hmm.
And when he hosted Saturday Night Live, I know some comedians that are on Saturday Night Live, and I know them. They were there when Dinklage hosted, and he came into the writer's room and he said, there will be no dwarf jokes this week. None. He put the kibosh on all the dwarf jokes. So they had to rewrite a bunch of shit.
Right.
But at the same time, Dinklage is... So I respect his opinion for that. But then at the same time, Dinklage is in a movie called Tiptoes. Are you familiar with the movie Tiptoes, Shannon?
I'm not.
Okay. Tiptoes is a movie. It stars people that you might know. Matthew McConaughey, Kate Beckinsale.
Wow.
And in the role of a lifetime, and they say this in the preview, it sounds like an SNL skit. In the role of a lifetime, Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman plays a dwarf in this movie.
Why not get a real dwarf to play?
So Gary Oldman plays a dwarf in this movie. Now you think, okay, so maybe they like CGI'd it, right?
Right.
Nope. Gary Oldman is on his knees, got the shoes, he's behind like bars. They're trying to hide his height, and they tie his arms back so his arms will be smaller. And this is what they get to play little people. And Peter Dinklage is also in that movie. Tiptoes is the most offensive movie to little people ever made. It's streaming on Amazon Prime. I highly advise everyone go watch it. And just know that when Peter Dinklage says you shouldn't do this to little people because it's offensive, that he is in that movie. So that is all I will say about that.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because we like to do something before 2 something.